Hey there, guys, it's controversial here. So I know it's been a minute. Your boy's just been grinding, working and whatnot. So today I just wanted to kind of react to this video by a content creator called Alina, and I'll be going into it. I've watched her content before. It's kind of a little bit of a soppy content creator. She kind of like cries a lot and stuff, so I don't know what to expect in this video. So I'm just gonna like react to it and see what she says. And yeah, let's just get into it. Let's go.
I feel so lonely and I want a boyfriend or a partner or a husband or whatever so badly. And I just want to start this off by saying that this is not a video of me looking for propositions from men to be my boyfriend or something like that.
Well, that's your first problem. I mean, if you didn't want propositions, you wouldn't be making this video. I never understand why people constantly say they don't want something, but in actual fact they do want something. It's like someone saying I don't care, or posting or making a post saying I don't care. Well, you cared enough to make a post. If you didn't care at all, you wouldn't post anything. So but anyway, let me continue.
I'm not looking for an online relationship. I want someone in my life physically. Out of all the love languages, my top love language is physical touch and quality time. So online relationships aren't going to work for me.
You see, this woman has been in enough relationships to know herself. Because one issue with being a person that can't really get into relationships is never really knowing anything about specifically what you want and about what other people want. So she's clearly been in enough relationships and she's not that bad looking. But in actual fact, why she's single has to be an overarching, it has to be a really good reason why she's single. And saying online relationships don't work for me, online relationships don't work for anybody, by the way. Online relationships do not work for anybody and should not work for anybody. You should want a relationship to be in person. But let me continue.
But I just desire love so strongly, and I have for so long. I've wanted to talk about it many times over video, but I haven't because I just don't know how to say it. But I know that everyone or most people feel the exact same way. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants a partner. And it's such a passionate, deep, strong feeling inside of each of us, or at least specifically myself. Yet it's so hard for me, at least, to express it in words, the feeling. It just feels like...
First and foremost, I just want to say one thing. A lot of people have a very unrealistic idea of relationships, and this is the issue with relationships. Too many people's ideals and views on relationships are reinforced by a lot of stuff that they see on social media, and I'm just going to come out and say it. Unfortunately, having an unrealistic and an unhealthy perception of something really is not going to make you any happy. You need to be realistic. You need to be logical. You need to think of what the other person wants as well. Because what I kind of get from her is a little bit of a me, I want this, I have this. When you need to speak to other people to get to know what they want, you need to find common ground. But let me continue.
I want to say emptiness, but that is wrong because I used to always look for a man to fill the emptiness inside of me. And after many years of looking for men to fill that emptiness in me, I realized that the only one who could fill that emptiness was God. But
okay, you see, the thing is, you see, this is the thing. She says she has an emptiness, right? And for men, I will say this: being a man is about being alone. This is one thing that people don't understand about men, is that being a man is about being alone. A man is supposed to be able to be an island. He's supposed to be able to move along. There's so many men out there who've been alone for 10, 15 years, and they've never felt that anything was missing with their lives. Because remember, for men, women are a luxury. Like, and when I say that, it's not common to find a good woman. So her saying, I want a man to fill in the gap, is that it's a very kind of removed from reality type of vibe. And, you know, going based off of what she looks, she could easily get a boyfriend. But it's like there's something that is not right about her, that is off-putting. And she says she has an emptiness. What type of emptiness? Because anyone who can be alone for a long time is whole by themselves. But with her, it's not very attractive when she mentions it. But let me continue.
The desire for a boyfriend or husband or whatnot is so strong inside of me, and I always try to not fight it, but kind of, because I know that the reason why I am not with someone right now is because it's not the right time, and God does have a plan for me, but it's just not yet. But I try to be patient, because it's just this knowing in me that I'm not ready yet. Everyone says that you can, everybody is different, but everyone says that you can still have a boyfriend or be in a successful relationship when you're at your worst or when you're depressed or things like that. But for my personal situation, I do feel like I need to overcome or get to a certain level in my mental health and in my personal journey before I can successfully be in a relationship.
Another thing I just want to add is that this woman doesn't look young at all. I mean, she has gray hair sprouting out the top of her head. I feel like with her personally, it's not necessarily linked to her mental health. It's just linked to who she attracts or who she's attracted to. I feel like at her age, she shouldn't really be talking about mental health as much as she is. I mean, if you have bad mental health, you have bad mental health. But the issue with her is that she's trying to fix all her problems by getting into a relationship. And you cannot put that much responsibility onto your partner. It doesn't work that way. People are not built that way. Someone that you want has to be able to function by themselves. And clearly with her, she's kind of struggling with that. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing that she's probably mid-30s to maybe late 30s. I don't know. I didn't research how old she is, but generally speaking, someone who's this age and is single and is speaking about mental health really is a red flag to a lot of men, because then you're going to have to deal with someone who can't necessarily control their mental health. And the fact that she's this age and she's waiting for a man to magically drop into her lap or for a man to drop into her life, it's not going to happen. It will only happen at a certain age, and once you've gone past your prime, that opportunity is never coming back again. You can't be 35, you can't be 38 and saying, I'm waiting for a man. Those men are never going to come. This is the harsh reality of reality. Those men are never going to come. But let me continue.
And that's only if I'm being honest with myself. It takes a lot of honesty with myself and surrender to really accept the reality that I need to overcome some stuff on my own first.
And that's the truth. If she's single at her age, there's a lot of work that she needs to do for herself in order to find a man. I feel like at her age, you definitely need to go out there. You can't just be sitting in your living room or sitting in your house crying about everything, not expecting a man to just pitch up out of nowhere. Specifically, posting it is another thing that gets me, because men can see this stuff, and eventually it's going to reach a certain amount of people to where the guys that you want are going to see this and they're not going to want you. It's just the way it is. Like, men are not like men don't simp for the rest of their lives. Like, that's the thing. Like, men don't, like, it gets to a certain point of where you reach a certain age as a man to where you don't want a relationship. Relationship is not something that you favor. You find solace in other stuff. You find happiness in doing other things like hobbies or something like that. And I don't know what hobbies this woman has, because if you check her channel, literally all she does is cry and complain. So that's kind of a red flag, even when you're someone like her who isn't necessarily that unattractive. But let me continue.
I've been single for about 5 years now.
Whoa. 5 years. Yeah, that's something else. If someone's been single for 5 years, just imagine how long they haven't had intercourse for. Single for 5 years is a long time, which I'm assuming that maybe her last relationship was a long-term one, but it depends. 5 years is a long time to be single, and this isn't something that you should bring up in a conversation, because it's definitely going to be a red flag, as 5 years is a long time. Jeez, 5 years, damn. Okay, let me continue.
Somewhere between 4 or 5 years, and I was 25 or 26 when I broke up with my last boyfriend. And I made a promise to myself that I would not be in a relationship again for at least 1 year, because my boyfriend and I were together for 2 years and we were very serious. And I read online somewhere at one point that said something that you need at least half the time of your relationship before of being single after it ends, before you go into the next one. It's not some sort of arbitrary number like that, but it did make sense. And
so just on that note, yeah, she said that she was 26 or 25 in her last relationship. So I'm assuming, yeah, that she's definitely well into her 30s. Like, just based off of that information, she's well into her 30s. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, let's continue.
That was a big deal to me. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a whole year, because prior to that, whenever I was in between boyfriends, I only had 2, but I was constantly on dating apps, constantly. And that year mark passed, and I still felt like, even though I was still seeking like dating, casual dating on dating apps at that point, after that 1 year, I think I knew in the back of my mind that I did know in the back of my mind that I still wasn't healed, because it wasn't just that I need to, I misspoke, but I don't want to refilm this whole video just to replace that part. It was so long ago I forgot, but I knew that wasn't making sense to me. When I broke up with my boyfriend, that 1 year mark was just something I read about how long it takes to move on or something like that. That was not what I was thinking. What I told myself is I wasn't allowed to be in another relationship until I healed myself, because I had a lot of issues. I had all the same depression during that time and previously, and it was in that relationship that I had learned that no man was going to save me from my depression and my issues, because I was in this relatively good relationship with a really nice man. His name was Austin. He was amazing. Everybody in my family, he still talks to him occasionally. He's a great man, but we weren't compatible.
You see, stuff like that, you need to be honest with yourself. If someone is a great person, you should try your best to make things work. Sort out your differences. It's best to put in the work, and this is the issue with like modern relationships. Is a lot of people want someone to be perfect right out the gate. They don't want to put in the time and the effort to really fine tune their relationship. Work with their differences to create a relationship that where both people put in the work will be a lot better than a relationship that is perfection from the beginning. Because in many cases, that type of perfection will just lead to boredom, if you get what I mean. But basically what I'm saying is that, there's this whole habit of people, specifically women, not wanting to put in the work into relationships, because that like the whole compatibility angle doesn't make sense. If he's a great guy, don't say someone is a great guy and then say, oh, we're just not compatible. Why? Explain. And it's kind of sad, because there's this whole trend of women saying, oh, guys are too nice, they can't be with a guy that is too nice. So generally speaking, it's kind of disingenuous for her to say, yeah, he was a great guy and everything, my family liked him, but we just weren't compatible. Which means that most likely she had some sort of expectations, and she had some sort of thing in her mind that didn't fit the relationship. Men can change. Men will change for anyone. Men can cater. That is who men are. Men are caterers. Men are providers. They could easily cater towards a woman's needs if they're logical and realistic. If they are outlandish, no, man's not going to do that. But yeah, let me continue.
He was extremely extroverted. I was extremely introverted. We didn't mesh in that way. We weren't right for each other, but he was a great person. And I didn't
But that's the thing. I'll never this is this is kind of the thing about introverts and extroverts. That whole argument is so ridiculous. Yo, she's extroverted, I'm introverted. He's an extrovert and I'm an introvert. It's like, people are people. Some people like to go out, some people like to stay in. But you have to be willing to you have to be willing to be considerate. You have to give and take between the two. If your partner is extroverted and they like to go out and have fun, try it. Go out and have fun with them. Maybe they can try something that you like. But it's ridiculous to go off of this introvert, extrovert, star sign, horoscope things that people like to go off of. As soon as you hear someone talking about introverts and extroverts when they're literally in their 30s, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. I don't understand introverts and extroverts. You guys are not teenagers in high school. Come on, man. But anyway, let's continue.
really realize that a lot of our problem was that I was introverted and he was extroverted and we have different desires in life. But that's aside from the point. The point was that I was with this man who loved me so much and made me so happy and was so wonderful, but I was still just as depressed as I'd always been. And
you see, that's you. That's a problem with you. You had a great guy who loved you, as you said, but it still wasn't enough. You see, the thing is, people must also understand that some people are just naturally, not naturally, but some people will just be depressed for the rest of their lives, thinking that they're gonna get over it. Some people will never get over it. Sometimes you just gotta accept that maybe it's just a part of who you are. Maybe there's just some trauma in life that you cannot get over. But using that as a basis to base a relationship or to literally cancel a relationship, because all I'm hearing her say is that she was a good guy, he loved me like this. So clearly she was the reason the relationship didn't work. And it's clearly her fault. It's clearly her own fault. She seems to take responsibility for it, but she doesn't seem to understand what she's saying. She's speaking a whole lot, but none of it's making sense. And I think she really lacks if the term is correct, I think it's she cannot look inside herself and see the problems, and that's the issue. She constantly wants other people to fix her, and that's the problem. You cannot fix your relationship problems, or you cannot fix your problems by getting into a relationship, and that is essentially what she's doing, which is kind of sad. But let me continue.
That moment I've talked about in other videos was when I realized no man was going to be the answer for my internal pain, my internal suffering, my internal emptiness. So when that relationship ended, I made a promise to myself to not go into another relationship until I had overcome the issues I knew I needed to overcome. And year after year after year would go by. At this point now, it's been over 4 years where I am now, and I had not healed or overcome these things I wanted to heal or overcome. And I was still constantly, up until last year, last time I had a dating app I've always had dating app. Always, it was just constantly finding a new guy, because I needed them to fill my emptiness inside of me. Because
you see, this is the problem with women now, is seeking validation from strangers online. This woman just went on for about 2-3 minutes about how she met a good guy who loved in her family and everything. And now you're telling me that you're running to dating apps looking for compatibility for people who most of the time lie. People lie so much on dating apps and on social media, it's not even funny. They lie about their age, they lie about their height, they lie about their jobs, they lie about everything. And this is a platform that you want to go to find a good guy, when you legit had a good guy in your life. This is a classic case of you don't know what you have until it's gone. You don't know what you have until it's gone. And now it's been 4 years and she's never found something even close to the other guy that she had. I feel sorry for that other guy, because he probably loved this woman, but unfortunately she's too much of a mess as a person. But anyway, let me continue.
As I had very severe limerence, and I put all my happiness into the hands of someone else. I think now
Ding, 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 ding. As I said, she constantly wants other people to fix her. She constantly wants other people to do all the work.
I did that. There's many psychological reasons why I did it, but I think one of them was that I was so unhappy that I couldn't control my own unhappiness, and I thought that because a man gave me a little bit of happiness, as humans are, relationships do bring us joy and happiness, and especially when you can't have them, you think that they're the source of your happiness and they're on a pedestal. And I realized that, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. It was kind of important, this realization that I had. But I realized that, wow, I can't believe I'm blanking. I don't usually do this. I was using, sorry, I'm trying to like trigger this thought back. I think it was easier for me to obsess and love and yearn after a man, because then I could tell myself that the reason why I wasn't happy is because I didn't have him. It's like this, each man, whatever man it was at the time, it could just change. Like I usually like be obsessed with man for like a year or so, and then eventually move on to the next one when that didn't work out.
As I said before, she's kind of going in a circle of realization, but it seems like it's not necessarily clicking. She's just constantly trying to find happiness in other men, trying to find other people to fix her depression and her problems. But yeah,
I would think that if I had him, I would be happy, and I think I used it as an excuse to put my own happiness in the hands of someone else, because when I put my own happiness in my own hands, I wasn't able to be happy, and so I didn't know what to do. So at least if I put my happiness in someone else's hands, I don't know, it's kind of a whole other video, whole other topic.
Yeah, that's kind of a you problem. Like, you're 30 something years old, you need to figure that stuff out. You cannot be out here being the age that you are, speaking about such an issue, saying, oh, I didn't know how to take care of my own happiness. It's like you're probably 30 something years old. Like, go out there, do something. There's so many things you can do, but you just want to sit at home and wait for a guy to fall on your lap. It's not going to happen. That's not the way life works. Humans are not built that way. It's too much of this social media influence on people. And even with her, you can clearly see that she doesn't necessarily take the best care of herself. Like, she wants everyone else to change. She wants everything around her to change except herself. But anyway.
But I'm finally starting to, for the first time in my life, feeling like I'm becoming healed and overcoming my traumas and overcoming my depression and overcoming all the things I've needed to overcome in my life to become my true version of myself. And I think that there will be a man for me when that happens.
Why is it that so many women think they're entitled to a man? I never understand this. I never understand it. Like, why do you think there's just going to be some random Mr. Right out there for you? That's not the way life works. Because I can tell you now, that it's not the way life works. This level of entitlement is why she's single. It's exactly the reason why she's single.
When I complete this, not that it's ever fully complete, but I feel that I'm at the end of it. I feel like in the next year or so, I'm going to finally come out like a butterfly. Like, I feel like I've been a cocoon for the past like 10 years or so. Just I don't know what I was doing in the cocoon, but regardless.
Yeah, this woman, I don't know, she's reading too many star signs, horoscopes, spiritual pamphlets or whatever, because really, like her mental health kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know, it kind of comes off as off to me, and yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all when she, I don't know. Anyway.
I'm ready to come out of it, and it's me. I don't think it was me before. It was a character I was playing. It was the ego that we all take on as humans, especially in our earlier years. And I know I want a boyfriend so badly. I want to be loved so badly, but I'm also patient with God. But I also every day feel this sadness in me because I just want that love. But I know that a big part of it is you need to give it to yourself first. And I'm getting there. I am giving it to myself. But to want a man to come into my life right now and be with me is not right, because I still am not fully loving myself, and I know I need to reach that first. I know even though despite the fact that I started this video out very specifically talking about how I'm not looking for just a random guy, there's still going to be comments that are going to say something like, oh, just go out and you can just find a boyfriend, and somehow people make comments that are completely missing the point. I don't just want a boyfriend. Obviously, a intellectual, deep thinker.
Not really. Just off of the basis of this video, I can tell that she's really not what she says she is. She's definitely not an intellectual thinker. Anyone who can really have that who can really be in deep thought about themselves wouldn't be having the issues she's having, especially at her age. The issues she's having are someone I would expect from a teenager, like having so many identity and self-esteem issues at her age is not very attractive. She's a pretty decent looking woman, but unfortunately she just doesn't have any attractive traits about her. She doesn't focus on any of the goodness about her. Here's pretty much the pinnacle of her problems. The problem with her is that she makes her mental health everything about her. Instead of her mental health being this side or this piece of her, she makes everything about her mental health. She's literally being her mental health. The way she speaks about it, she doesn't speak about it as if she's happy. Because, when it comes to depression and stuff, there's very, you can be depressed, but you can't be depressed 90% of the day. You go out, you do things, you live your life, you go to work. There's moments of happiness in life to be had. But with her, she's being her depression. That's why she looks so bad. That's why she looks like she's literally at her wit's end. Is because she's being her mental health. She's making her mental health everything about her. She's cut off her relationships. She's probably cut off a few friends, and she maybe doesn't live a normal life because she's made everything about her mental health.
And there's a certain type of person that I want in my life. I don't want just anyone. Of course, I'm a woman. I can go out and probably find a boyfriend within 24 hours.
Yeah, I would say thinking like that is not good. Be realistic. Be very realistic and be very careful what you say. Yeah. With the way she looks, I can say that if she had to go out in public and try and get a guy, she would be disappointed. And it would be even worse. She had a good guy and she let him go. Why? Because she didn't want to compromise. She didn't want to sacrifice some of her to give to another guy, even though that guy, by the looks of it and by the sounds of it, he pretty much gave everything to her. Met her family, met her friends, everyone liked him. But clearly it's because she has some issues and she has some demons that she needs to sort out. Because it's very clear. It says that she didn't want to compromise. She wants a perfect guy so that she can be perfect, and it doesn't work that way. Humans do not work that way.
It doesn't mean that they're somebody that I want to be with. I don't just want just a man. I want someone who is right for me. And that's hard to find, especially when you're someone who, how they say the phrase it's lonely at the top? I'm obviously not at the top, but what they're saying in that is that, I said it something like this in another video.
You see, I see, this is the thing. I don't know where she gets her information from. It's lonely at the top. It's clearly somehow she thinks that that because she's a woman, because she's okay looking, that she's better off than a lot of other. I don't understand. She has moments of where her self-esteem is low, and she has moments where her self-esteem is high. Yes, she has mental health issues, but maybe it's not as big. Maybe it's not as much of depression. It's not as much of maybe it's not as much of depression as she thinks it is. And this is why I say she makes everything about her mental health, which is what a lot of women are doing now. Women in their 20s, women in their 30s, and women in their 40s. It's just always, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm depressed, oh, I have anxiety, oh, I have this, oh, I'm bipolar, oh, I'm this. It's like how much of you do we actually get to see? And that's the problem. Anyway.
Is that it's rarity is lonely. So to have some sort of rarity is a very lonely situation to be, because there's very few people who are like you. So if you're at the top and successful and everything, there's very few people who are like you. So it's lonely. And for myself, when you're aware of things, and I don't like to be all in the ego and calling myself spiritually awakened, because one cannot really be fully awakened, but you get what I'm saying. To find
she's so confused. She really doesn't know who she is, honestly. Like she has no in her mind, she has no solid line or solid person or path that she is. She's constantly getting pulled this way, pulled that way. I don't know, man. It's really interesting to see. This is a good case of mental health, but it's not only mental health. It's a lack of identity. And definitely she tries to find her identity in the wrong things. Like over-exaggerating your depression and over-exaggerating your mental health is not a very good way to fix your mental health. This is why it's never going to get fixed, because she's trying to be her mental health. She's making it the only thing about her. But anyway.
Find someone like that is it's not a simple task, but I put that job in the hands of God. And this video isn't about me trying to find a man, because I know that it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. It's just about me being...
Life doesn't work that way. Like, why do people keep on saying, oh no, I'll find someone eventually? No, it doesn't work that way. Because someone like her could easily go being on single until she's 50. If she's not putting in the effort and the work into finding her relationship, she's not going to get into one. Believe you me, there's a lot of men in their 30s who, by the time they get to their 30s, know how to live life being alone, without a relationship. They'll maybe have a dog, they'll maybe have a cat, they'll have hobbies, they'll have whatever. And they've grown accustomed to being alone. And that's the problem, is that she doesn't know how to be alone. She constantly thinks that there's this perfect guy walking around out there. And at her age, specifically in this one age, and I'm younger than her, I'm considerably younger than her. And I know this already. And it's kind of sad. It's sad that her development has kind of gone up and it goes down. Because she met a good man, but she clearly couldn't compromise. But anyway.
Lonely. I just desire that connection so much, and so many people do, and that's what makes people turn to casual sex or to...
Hey, casual sex works for some people. Casual sex works for some people. This is the thing about her. She's watching too many TikTok videos. She's watching too many romantic videos on TikTok, because clearly what she wants is not attainable. She doesn't want something realistic. She keeps on talking about this thing. She keeps on trying to objectify it. It's not an object. People are not objects. People don't work. Anyway, but yes, let me continue.
Maintaining dating and situationships that aren't good for them, because that need for that romantic companionship is so strong. And to choose to go without it is really painful. And for some people, you might not find the right person for a long time. So you don't know how long it's going to be until you find that person. I don't know. And I don't even know if I will. I have to have faith in God that I will.
People, I don't know why people keep on saying, I'll just leave God to this, God that. God doesn't control everything. You have a certain amount of free range that is your responsibility. You found a good guy and you didn't fight for it. If there's incompatibilities, find compatibilities. Everyone has their differences. We're all different. Everyone has their differences. You focus on the differences when you're supposed to be a couple in a relationship. Of course, you're not going to find compatibility. There's differences everywhere, but you have to try and sort it out between the two. You cannot just decide this person doesn't do what I want, he doesn't do what I say. Have you ever thought about the other person's perspective? I guess not, because then she wouldn't have broken up with him. She would have had a happy relationship with that guy. But anyway.
And I really hope I do, but it's just so painful every day. And there's this guy that I've been having this on and off, not even a relationship thing, situationship, who knows what it is, just for the past almost a year now. And I ended it with him about a month ago because I just couldn't keep doing it to myself. It's like he wasn't showing up in the way that I needed someone to show up for me. But I really liked him, and I couldn't really let him go because I wanted him.
That's the thing. You see, she doesn't compromise. She doesn't fight for relationships. She constantly finds reason to sabotage relationships and then she leaves because of it. She clearly is not the one who wants to compromise. You must understand, a relationship is between two people, it's not just you. She keeps on, and that's the thing, she's very entitled for someone of her age. Very, very entitled. Everything must be about her. Everything must be perfect for her. This is why she's single. Literally the reason. It's not because she's sad. It's not because she's depressed. It's not because of the way modern relationships are. It's because she doesn't want to fight for relationships. She wants everyone to do all the work for her so that she can do nothing. And maybe she's doing it subconsciously, maybe she's doing it on purpose, but it's not clicking with her. She is the problem. She doesn't think of what the other people want. She doesn't think about the other people's boundaries, about what the other people's needs and wants. You can't be the only person in the relationship constantly receiving love, attention. You also have to compromise for your partner. If you want a relationship, you have to be willing to compromise as well. And unfortunately, she doesn't know that. At her age, that's dangerous because she's only getting older. Time's only gonna keep moving, and that's the issue. Is that she doesn't understand that. But anyway,
I really did like him, but we didn't have what I wanted. Like, he was so busy with work, I barely ever saw him, even though we...
You see, this is the thing. She says we, and then she follows it up with I. If you say we, stick to we. Don't say we were not compatible because he did this and he did that. You see, the men she's with are not there to defend themselves. She constantly says we as if they were both thinking the same. When if you had to ask the guy, maybe he had no idea how she felt. She keeps on saying we, and then she follows that up with me. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. She clearly didn't know how the men she was with felt. She clearly doesn't know. She wanted one thing, and it's her way or the highway.
We talked every day. Like I said, I need the physical part of a relationship, and he wasn't able to provide that for me. And he even said to me the same thing. He's like, I don't feel like I can give you like what you need. He's so preoccupied with work and working really, really long shifts and long like days in a row and having no time off and everything. And
this is the thing I don't understand. Like, you're 30 something years old. Like, what do you want from the dude? Do you expect him to quit his job and then just cater for your every need and whim? You see, this is how removed from reality she is. Like, how can you complain about a man's job? A man's job is how he feeds himself. It's how he feeds his family. That's how he keeps a roof over his head. What do you want him to do? Like, complaining about a man's job is clearly how removed from reality is. And the thing is, I don't necessarily know her situation, but she hasn't mentioned her job. She hasn't mentioned how she makes money. She hasn't mentioned anything once. But clearly, by the looks of it, she's not struggling financially. So where does she get her money from? Is she living with her parents? Is she doing whatever? And this is the issue. She has the same level of mental health as someone who is way younger than her. You're always at work. You never have time for me. It's like, bro, like you have to think. You're 30 something years old. By that time, people have car payments, they have house payments, they have bills, they have debt, they have so many things to focus on. And you want to be the sole focus of this person. That's not the way life works. That's not the way people work, especially men. Men in their 30s don't have time for women like this because they require all their attention. And a man cannot give that. It's either you're going to compromise or not. And she's trying to control the relationship and control the dynamic, which doesn't help. But let me continue.
So it's just been this ongoing thing with this guy that isn't providing for me in the way that I need to be provided for. And he even said it, and he's like, I don't want to hurt you, but we both still like each other, so what are you supposed to do? And we just kept going on and on about it, and no one's going to end it, because it's, you still like the person, but the situation just isn't working out in the way you want it to work out. And I really wish it did, but I did end it because, not because I wanted to, it was really, really hard. But how much longer? It's been like over 6 months, and how much longer can you go on hoping a guy is going to change or a person's going to change?
You see, as I said before, she constantly wants everyone else to do all the work. She never wants to change she never wants to put in the work or the effort. She constantly wants everyone to just cater for her. And essentially, she's such a spoiled brat. She wants everything spoon-fed to her. She wants everything given to her on a silver platter. And people just don't work that way.
At a certain point, you have to stop waiting for them to change and just accept that the reality of the situation is the reality of the situation. I just kept thinking, oh, he'll get a different job, or...
No, you accept people for who they are, and you accept their life. You have to cater for them. It's about give and take. She clearly was only taking and not giving. She didn't understand the man's situation. Remember, at one point they were both strangers. You cannot just come into someone's life as a stranger and then try to change everything about the person and complain like the way she does. I would love to hear the men that she's interested in, or the guys that she's been with, is perspective of how she is, because I can honestly say that most of them would say the same thing about her, would honestly have the same opinion about her. I'm sure she's not a bad person. She's just confused, and at her age, it's not attractive. You can't be 35, 34, and then speaking to men who are maybe 41, maybe 45, having all these issues. But anyway.
Whatever scenario, and it didn't happen. But it doesn't matter. And so I've ended things with this guy over a month ago, and he still reaches out, but he's just trying to, probably just wants to sleep with me, and I have to resist the urge to reach out to respond or to engage in this conversation with this man, because I do want him, and I do want that physical connection, and not just sex, just all of it, but he still can't give it to me in the way that I want it because he's just so physically unavailable with his schedule.
It's called life. You should live it for once. Honestly, it's called life. Not everyone can cater not everyone can cater to your needs. And in any case, most of her needs are ridiculous. It's like, you are not a child. They are not your parents. They cannot come there after you've had a rough day and say, oh, rub your head and say, oh, did you have a rough day? Is everything gonna be okay? No. These are grown men with real life problems, or not real life problems, but these are just men with real life responsibilities. If my job was my responsibility before I met you, it's gonna be my responsibility in the relationship and after you leave. I cannot just stop living my life and stop working just to cater for you, because after you leave, then what happens? Anyway.
And I just feel sad about it all the time, and I've was hoping that, you let something go and it'll come back to you, and I was kind of hoping that would happen with him as time goes on. But I'm also thinking maybe he was never right for me in the first place, but instead of sitting around and thinking, is he right or is he not right, or all these things, I just put that in God's hands, and I just have faith that whatever is supposed to happen for me is what is going to happen for me.
You see, she does it again. God's hands, God this, God that. It's like, when are you gonna realize that it's up to you? She keeps saying that she met nice guys. You met nice guys, fight for them, stick with them. This woman is clearly not ready for a long-term relationship, but she keeps on going to dating apps. Good luck, because honestly, this is ridiculous. She keeps on saying she meets nice guys, but then no, she's gonna put it in God's hands. God doesn't care about. There's certain problems that you have in life, and God just doesn't give a damn about. And she doesn't understand that. This is what a lot of people don't understand about religion and God. But anyway.
And I do feel that the thing with when you have a really strong connection with God or the universe, a lot of times you know what you know things. You don't know, like, you're not.
Oh my goodness. This is now she's just flying off the handle and she's just babbling. She's just gabbing, babbling, talking absolute gibberish. Like, where is this coming from? Who is this woman speaking to? I'd really like to know.
A fortune teller, and you don't know specific details, but you have knowings of why things are happening the way they're happening. And I know that I'm supposed to be alone and figure myself out, and I'm becoming this version of myself who is going to be right, and I'm going to finally meet that person and have that companionship that I want. But I still have a few more steps to go, and I hope that I'm not making a video like this a year from now and still being lonely and still desiring love and companionship. But if that is the case, then that is the case. And I don't even want to think about that, because you guys know I'm 30 and I don't want kids. Some people ask.
This woman is 30 years old. This woman is only 30 years old. Wow. Okay. Jeez Louise, okay, so she's only 30 years old. This is a major wake-up call, honestly. She's only 30 years old. Because just off of base the way she looks, she easily looks mid-30s, like late 30s. Wow, okay. Wow, okay.
I do not want kids. I have no desire to have children. I have other things I want to do with my life, and it's not take care of children. As much as I would be a good mother.
No. Don't say that. If you don't want kids, leave it there. Don't say I would be a good mother without having any remnants of a good idea of how to take care of a kid. Think about the child first. And this woman is not doing that either. She's not thinking about what the child would experience. Don't ever say that you'll be a good parent if you don't want to be a parent. There's many people out there who have 5, 10 kids and they're the most horrible parents. And there's some out there who have, okay, let me rephrase that. There are people out there who have a lot of kids who never kids who never anticipated having kids, and they turn out to be decent parents. But never, ever, ever say that you'll be a good parent. Like, you cannot predict that. You cannot predict that. I'm glad she doesn't want kids, because you cannot be saying, oh, I would be a good parent. No, that's not the way it works. Have a kid and then let's see. Have a kid and let's see. It's easy to say because people think kids are like dogs and cats. No, it's not the same thing. I've had people close to me recently who had kids and they say it's hard work. Some of them even regret having their kids. It's hard work. But anyway.
It's just not my life path. I just know it inside of me. And I'm not saying I'm running out of time, but people always say like my parents are divorced and they remarried, and they're found people amazing for them, and I'm so grateful for their divorce because they were really not good for each other, and they found people who are good for them. And both of those, my parents have been remarried for over 10 years now. And I get 2 other wonderful people in my life that I love so much, and I'm so grateful for that. And both my mom and my dad have said to me, on separate occasions obviously because they're divorced, but they have said to me, like, you don't need to be impatient with love and your partner. That time will come when that time comes. And they say, look at themselves. They both found their person that actually works for them in their 40s when they did. And I say, I understand where they're coming from. Like, it's never too late to find someone, but human life is not endless. It has an end date. And yes, maybe I'll find the love of my life when I'm 60, but that means I might only have a certain amount of years with them. Obviously, there's a chance people can die at any time. I don't even want to get into that because I can't deal with the thought of that concept at this moment. But I don't want to find the love of my life when I'm 40 or 50. I want to spend time with them now. I want to have those experiences with them now.
Then stop going on to social media, stop going on to dating apps. Speak to people. Go out in public or do whatever. Just go out and speak to people. Have conversations with people. Have a relationship with people. Learn to compromise. Learn to fight for your relationships. Don't just end them because of your personal female feelings, whatever TikTok or your friends tell you to. Because it's clearly who she's being influenced by. I don't know where this woman is getting her dose of reality from, but it's clearly not a dose of reality. It's just a dose of...
I understand also part of the reason why is that you change so much as a human that perhaps it's not meant to be that you find some person in your 20s or whatnot, or early 30s, that you're with forever, because who you are, especially in your early 20s, is not who you are in your early 20s, or it's not who you are when you're 30. And
that is not the case for everyone. Some people maintain their innocence, or let's just say they maintain a little bit of themselves. Life changes people, and life changes itself as well. So when it comes to that, you should always remain the same person that you are. You should just become more mature. You should become more wise, more smart. Seek more knowledge. Seek more knowledge. Seek more knowledge. Seek to become a better person. Anyone who stays at the same level of maturity,
unless you choose to,
will never really know
unless you are really self-aware, or you choose to not change, and you don't want to be with a person who chooses to not change. That's not a person you would ever want to be with. No one should want to be with someone like that or aspire.
But anyway. That's why she's single, because she refuses to change. She refuses to adapt to other people's adaptations. That's a wrong way to say it. But she refuses to adapt to how someone else is. She constantly wants other people to cater for her and adapt to who she is. And in her mind, she has this high self-esteem of herself, but in reality, she has no self-esteem. But yet she wants to dictate how other people feel about her. She constantly wants what she wants.
To be someone like that. Change is good. Change is human. Change is life. Changes the universe. Everything. The only constant in life is change. And
why did you leave?
That the change that we experience in our early 20s to our 30s is a complete identity shift. If you're doing any sort of self-work, because if you're I think most of my viewers are my age or older, but if you're younger than me and you're in your early 20s and you're kind of wondering why, when you're in your early 20s, your teens, your 20s, you're still so much in the ego and in society, and you don't really get to know who your true inner self is. Plus you have the whole prefrontal cortex that has...
I'm sorry, I'm a guy and I mainly have male friends, and all of my male friends know who they are. I'm sorry, but it's all of my friends. I have people who are younger than me, and I know people that are older than me, and I know people that are as young as 19, and they are so self-aware. It's unbelievable. These new generations of people are not as dumb as we think they are. It's just that everyone focuses on the dumb ones. But as I'm saying is that most of my friends are very self-aware and know who they are. We know what we're supposed to be doing in life. We're not sitting around saying, I'm in my feelings that I'm depressed. No. A lot of us know who exactly we are, and we're gonna stick to who we are and maintain it. and become more wise, get more wisdom, become better people. That's what you're supposed to do in life. If you focus too much on your mental, or if you have that much time in your life like she does, or where she's trying to be a mental health, you're literally never gonna know who you are.
Fully developed until you're about mid-20s, so your actually brain hasn't fully developed. It's so interesting because when you are younger and people say things like, oh, you'll understand when you're older, or even when I was in my early 20s, I just didn't understand things, and I didn't know I didn't understand them until I was older. And I'm like, that makes sense now. But your brain actually isn't capable, and it's not your fault. Your brain just isn't capable, and that is a whole part of the life experience. But regardless, we change so much. Maybe I'm going off on a whole tangent. The reason why that I'm not going to say on camera, but
that's the one time I've actually seen, you see, just there, you saw a little bit of herself where she actually smiles, and that's so attractive. She actually smiles. She looks so much better when she's smiling and happy, instead of all this droopy, oh, I've got mental issues, blah blah blah. Like, it's actually pretty to see her smile. She should smile. But anyway,
let's just say that I have a very diverse like age range of men that I find attractive. It goes in both directions. I love men. Like, I'm a man lover. It's kind of an issue because of lust, and I want to make a whole video talking about lust, but I like men on all variations of them. So I'm saying this because this guy is younger than me, and I can't believe I just said that on camera, but he's in his early 20s, and I am like, why are you being with someone in their early 20s? Doesn't even make sense. They're not even who they are. Yes, he's amazing. Yes, he's a really sweet, kind, gentle soul and very loving and has qualities and traits that you like, but he's also in his early 20s. And
you see, this is the difference in development between men and women. A man in his 20s could easily have the same mind of a person in their 40s. If they're thinking long term, if they're thinking saving money, if they're thinking, this is the thing, a lot of men usually think about their whole life, in their whole life. So when I was 10, I was thinking maybe 20 years ahead. When I was 18, I was thinking 50 years ahead. When this is why I'm saying men usually think ahead, and they usually think long term. And this is why, even for her, she's so perplexed by the fact that this guy in his early 20s is going for a woman in her 30s, because he knows what he wants and he doesn't mind her age. He finds her attractive because she is moderately attractive, and that's the thing. But she's 30 and she doesn't know who she is, and she's struggling with her mental health issues and everything. And some guys don't mind. Some guys find older women more attractive because they're less of a hassle to deal with than younger women. But he just knows who he is, and there's nothing else much to it. But anyway,
who he is now is not going to be who he is later, and perhaps you need to just let that go and accept that it's just not meant to be. And especially someone like myself who is so aware.
Perhaps maybe you just need to enjoy the moment, have fun with this person, speak to them, just enjoy the relationship. Let yourself have fun, let them have fun, enjoy life. I don't know why this woman constantly wants to refuse herself from having fun or enjoying life at all. It's kind of sad, really, that she's in her 30s and she's refusing to give love out, or she's refusing to let men love her. She's clearly the problem, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad, and I honestly feel sorry for her. And if she watches this video, I honestly hope that you get the help that you need, because really, clearly she doesn't have any problems getting attention from men, but she needs to realize that she's 30 years old. She's not 22 anymore. She's not 17 anymore. She doesn't have all this time in the world. That 20-something-year-old guy that she's with, the guy in his early 20s, is going to find a new woman. Maybe the relationship won't work out, but at least you can say that you had it. At least you can say you had their experience. But anyway.
And analytical, as I said earlier, I need that. I feel like I need someone who has that life experience, kind of. Lucky for me, I like men on all age spectrums, so there's lots for me to choose from. But there really isn't, because God will only send me what is meant for me. And they say there's lots of men to choose from, but I don't really feel like there is. I don't really see them. That it's like
Keeps on going on about the God stuff as well. When she finds that she has no excuse or no reason which she's hiding, she just says, "Oh God this, oh God that, oh God this, oh God that." It's very off-putting and unattractive. God doesn't care about relationship issues. He has way bigger fish to fry than that. It's like, really? Hey, God isn't your personal bestie that you can have slumber parties with and drink hot cocoa at night, sit around the campfire with. That's not who God is. But anyway,
one's taken, or they just don't. I don't catch their. They don't catch my eye, or whatever it is. But regardless, that I'm not going around to bars. I'm not on dating apps. I'm not doing any of that stuff. So I'm not trying to seek a man. I'm just tired of being lonely, but I don't want to seek out any man just for the sake of easing my loneliness. I want the right one, and I'm really tired of waiting for it.
Then, yeah, there's your problem. She clearly doesn't know what she wants. She has objectified everything about what relationships are. She's obviously tried to manipulate her relationships as much as possible so that she can get only what she wants. And as I said before, humans are not built that way. She clearly wants some. She clearly has an unrealistic expectation or an unrealistic mindset of something. She keeps on watching TikTok videos about relationships. She keeps on watching chick flicks. She has this unrealistic idea or image of a relationship and of love. And it's kind of sad that she won't let herself be happy, or that she won't let any of the other men that she's been with be happy with her. She's refused to give them love. She's refused to reciprocate whatever they gave her. They just kept on giving and kept on giving. And it's only a matter of time until men walk away. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
And I just desire to be loved, and I'm envious of people who have that love. And
she keeps on looking at other people, and that's her problem. She had opportunities to find her own love, but she ruined it.
It's hard out there, and I know a lot of people relate, because everyone wants love. Everyone's chasing after love. But I know...
Nah, that's just you. I'm sorry, but we have to call a spade a spade. If you having the love problems you having, that's just you. Don't generalize, because a lot of people do not have the same problems she has. A lot of men don't have the same problems finding relationships that women do. Because women are not the ones going out there finding relationships. They are just expecting to get attention and wait for a man to drop on their lap or to drop into their life. That's just not the way it works. This is not a battle royale game of where we can just drop from the sky and fight for your affection. It's actually a good way to put it. But anyway.
I know I have to love myself first, and I have to be patient with God, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, so basically my final conclusion of this is that she just needs to compromise more. That's all she needs to do. She just needs to generally compromise with whoever it is, and she needs to really ask them, what do you want? What is it that you want from this relationship? What would you want from me? What type of affection? But instead she just wants what she wants, and it's either her way or the highway. But anyway, this is Controversial signing off. Yeah. Bye.